Kind of puts all that stuff in perspective, right? I think we did talk about that yesterday, didn't we? Okay. All right, so here comes some live people. Living people. There's Joe Stoddard, our undertaker, supervising the new made grave. And here comes a Grover's Corners boy that left town to go out west. So, let's see. Bailey, I want you to read for Sam Craig. Cameron, I want you. Did you have a part yesterday, Cameron? Who was your part? Miss Soames. Okay, you keep Miss Soames. All right. Who was Miss Gibbs? Okay, good. And who's Emily? Okay, good. And let's see. Yeah.
You want me to read for Sam Craig?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have just a whole heck of a lot of boys in here. Oh, but you know what? Micah's back. Do what? Okay, you can read. Did I say Joe Stoddard or Sam Craig? Sam Craig. Then you can read for Joe Stoddard. Okay, Bess? And then, I think that's it for now. I feel like if I might miss a part, but then I can pick it up later, okay? All right, so here come the live people. One is the Undertaker, and one is a guy who is visiting from out of town. So, Sam Craig.
Good afternoon, Joe Stoddard.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Let me see now. Do I know you?
I'm Sam Craig.
Gracious sakes.
Sakes alive.
Of all people, I should have known you'd be back for the funeral. You've been away for a long time, Sam.
Yes, I've been away over 12 years. I'm in business out in Buffalo now, Joe, but I was in the East when I got news of my cousin's death, so I thought I'd combine things a little and come and see the old home. You look well.
Oh, yes, can't complain. Very sad our journey today, Samuel.
Yes.
Yes. I always say I hate to supervise when a young person's taken. They'll be here in a few minutes now. I had to come here early today. My son's supervision at the home.
Old farmer McCarty, I used to do the chores for him after school. He had the lumbago.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but some disease, yeah. Go ahead, Joe.
Oh, yes, we brought Farmer McCarty, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Here a number of years ago.
Why, this is my Aunt Julia. I'd forgotten that she, of course.
Oh, yes, Doc Gibbs lost his wife 2-3 years ago about this time, and today another pretty bad blow for him too.
I'm confused.
What?
Sorry, not to interrupt.
Okay, so they're in the cemetery, right? Okay. And the Undertaker and a guy that's just visiting is, they're looking at the tombstones, right? Well, remember that our rows that are going to be up like stage right are the rows of the graves, but we have actors sitting in these seats like Miss Gibbs, whose character has died, but she's able to speak because one of the things that Thornton Wilder does, which is unconventional, is he gives voice to the dead, right? He lets them talk and say the things that, the dead maybe would want to say to us if they had a chance to, okay? So we get to kind of listen in on that. So when Miss Gibbs says, that's my sister Carrie's boy, Sam Craig, she's talking about the visitor. So this is her nephew that is here, and she and some of the other dead are talking about the people who are visiting. Okay? Okay. Maybe I should have led with that. I thought we talked about that yesterday.
It was
Maybe
just
not.
the staring at the knees part there.
Oh, yeah, because she's seated, and that's her grave, and so he's looking at the tombstone, and yeah, but we see her. Okay? All right. Yeah, the knees for you, huh? All right, so Simon Stimson. Who was Simon Stimson once upon a time? All right, Logan. I'm always uncomfortable.
I'm always uncomfortable when they're around.
Simon, do they choose their own verses much, Joe?
No, not usual. Most the bereaved. Is that right?
Bereaved means the people left behind.
Doesn't sound like Aunt Julia. There aren't many of those Hershey sisters left now. Let me see. I want to look at my father's and mother's.
Over there with the Craigs, Avenue F.
He was an originist at church, wasn't he? Drink a lot. Organist, organist, wasn't he? Drink a lot, we used to say.
Nobody was supposed to know about it. He'd seen a peck of trouble. Took his own life, you know.
Oh, did he?
Hung himself in the attic. They tried to hush it up, but of course it got around. He chose his own
Epitaph.
epitaph. You can see it there in a verse exactly.
Why, it's just some notes of music. What is it?
Oh, I wouldn't know. It was wrote up in the Boston papers at the time.
Okay, so let's pause and break, and like pick this apart a little bit. All right, we got Simon Stimson, who is the organist, the choir director, who was the guy that was stumbling around in the first act, the one where everybody kind of shook their head and said, we don't know how that's going to end. Well, now we do know how it ended. It ended with him killing himself, right? So, again, microcosm. Here are people who represent the larger whole, and there are some folks in this world that are just sad. They can't seem to find happiness, and he's one of them, right? Now, the other thing I wanted to mention is epitaph. An epitaph, and y'all do not have vocabulary due this week because you have so many other things going on, but, and I forgot to put it in, but whatever. Epitaph is what you would have on the tombstone. That's something that you're going to need to remember because we're going to be looking at a poet whose poems are in the form of epitaphs, okay? And that's coming up later on. So Simon Stimson, who loved music, his epitaph were, it was just musical notes, which is a bit peculiar, right? Okay, go ahead.
Joe, what did she die of?
Well,
Just say who.
oh, who?
My cousin.
Oh, didn't you know? Had some trouble bringing a baby into the world. Was her second though. There's a little boy about 4 years old.
The grave's gonna be over there?
Yes, there ain't much more room over here among the
Gibbses.
Gibbses. So they're opening up a whole new Gibbs section over by Avenue B. You'll excuse me now. I see they're coming.
All right, so if you haven't figured it out yet, Emily is the one who has died, okay? Now, she comes in, and the way it would be staged is this. You would have the crowd that would go to the graveside, and they'd be dressed in black, and they would have umbrellas because umbrellas means it's raining. Rain means sadness. It's a whole symbolic thing, right? So they're all coming in, and Emily is dressed in white. And out of this mass of people, she steps for the audience to be able to see. And Thornton Wilder chooses to have her die how? In childbirth. The baby lives, okay? But she dies, which was really common back then, y'all, okay? So why do you think symbolically he would have Emily die in this manner, yet have the child survive? Like, what does that kind of remind us of?
She's left a part.
It's her legacy.
Yeah, it's her legacy, circle of life. I mean, that's the cycle of life as well, okay? So she's going to come out, and we're going to get to hear what she has to say too, okay? Now, she obviously feels kind of peculiar, right? All right, so Mrs. Soames.
Who is it, Julia?
My daughter-in-law, Emily Webb.
Well, I declare, the road up here must have been awfully muddy. What did she die of, Julia?
In childbirth.
Childbirth. I'd forgotten all about that. My, wasn't life awful and wonderful?
I love that line. Might want to make a note of it. Miss Soames has some of the best lines. My, wasn't life awful and wonderful? And it is. It's all those things and everything in between, right? Simon Stimson, he's a bit cynical.
Wonderful, wasn't it? Or was it?
Wonderful, was it? Yeah.
Simon, now remember.
I remember Emily's wedding. Wasn't it a lovely wedding? And I remember her reading the class poem at graduation exercises. Emily was one of the brightest girls ever graduated from high school. I've heard Principal Wilkins say so time after time. I called on them at their new farm just before I died. Perfectly beautiful farm.
It's on the same road we lived on. Yep, Right Smart Farm. And they hear a hymn being sung. I always like that hymn. I was hoping they'd sing a hymn. Now, Emily is going to come out of the crowd and she goes to where the dead are seated and she's going to take her place beside George's mother. Okay? All right. Let's see. Yeah, Emily.
Hello?
Hello, Emily.
Hello, Miss Gibbs.
Hello, Mother Gibbs.
Emily.
Hello? It's raining.
Yes, they'll be gone soon, dear. Just rest yourself.
It seems thousands and thousands of years since Papa remembered that was my favorite hymn. Oh, I wish I'd been here a long time. I don't like being new here. How do you do, Mr. Stimson?
How do you do, Emily?
Mother Gibbs, George, and I have made the farm into just the best place you ever saw. We thought of you all the time. We wanted to show you the new barn and a great long cement drinking fountain for the stock. We bought that out of the money you left us.
I did?
Don't you remember, Miss Mother Gibbs? The legacy you left us? Why, it was over $350.
Yeah, so that must have come from that big piece of furniture, which tells us that, you know, parents often sacrifice, right? She wanted to go to Paris, but she ends up giving that money to her son and his new wife for their farm instead. All right, Miss Gibbs.
Yes, Emily.
Well, there's a
Patton.
patent device on the drinking fountain so that it never overflows. Mother Gibbs, and it never sinks below a certain mark. They have there. It's fine. It won't be the same to George without me, but it's a lovely farm. Life people don't understand, do they?
No, dear, not very much.
They're sort of shut up in little boxes, aren't they? I feel as though I knew them last 1,000 years ago. My boy is spending the day at Mrs. Carter's. Oh, Mr. Carter, my little boy is spending the day at your house.
Is he?
Yes, he loves it there. Mother Gibbs, we have a Ford too. Never gives us any trouble. I don't drive them. Mother Gibbs, when does this feeling go away of being one of them? How long does it?
Shh, dear, just wait and be patient.
I know. Look, they'll finish.
Now, the umbrellas are leaving, but Dr. Gibbs takes some of the flowers from Emily's grave to put on his wife's. Emily.
Look, Father Gibbs is giving some of my flowers to you. He looks just like George, doesn't he? Oh, Mother Gibbs, I never realized before how troubled and how in the dark live people are. Look at him. I loved him so. From morning till night. That's all they are, troubled.
Yeah, and I think all this about they don't really understand. We don't know what she's really talking about yet, but we're going to find that out, okay? Little cooler than it was, yes. Rain's cooled it off a little. Those northeast winds always do the same thing, don't they? If it isn't a rain, it's a 3-day blow.
But Mother Gibbs, one can go back there again until living. I feel it, I know it. Why just then, for a moment, I was thinking about the farm. And for a minute I was there, and my baby was on my lap. It's plain as day.
Yes, of course you can.
I can go back there and live all those days over again. Why not?
All I can say is, Emily, don't.
But it's true, isn't it? I can go and live back there again.
Yes. Some have tried, but they soon come back here.
Don't do it, Emily.
Emily, don't. It's not what you think it'd be.
But I won't live over a sad day. I'll choose a happy one. I'll choose the day I first knew that I loved George. Why should that be painful?
Well, you not only live it, but you watch yourself living it.
Yes?
And as you watch it, you see the things that they down there never know. You see the future. You know what's going to happen afterwards.
But is that painful? Why?
That's not the only reason why you shouldn't do it, Emily. When you've been here longer, you'll see that our life here is to forget all that and think only of what's ahead and be ready for what's ahead. When you've been here longer, you'll understand.
But Mother Gibbs, how can I ever forget that life? It's all I know. It's all I had.
Oh, Emily, it isn't wise. Really, it isn't.
But it's a thing I must know for myself. I'll choose a happy day anyway.
No, at least choose an unimportant day. Choose the least important day in your life. It will be important enough.
Yeah, that's a really good line to maybe make a note of. When she decides that she wants to go live, have a do-over of a day of her life, right? She says, I'll choose the day I first knew that I loved George, which we've seen. That was when they were, in the ice cream parlor, okay? But her mother-in-law says, no, choose an unimportant day. It'll be important enough, okay? All right, when we get into her do-over, let's see. Bristol, I'm going to get you to read for Mrs. Webb, and I'm going to get Charlie to read for Mr. Webb. And Tyron, you're going to read for Constable Webb. And then Howie Newsome. Amber, you're going to read for Howie Newsome. All right, so I might have missed something, but we'll pick it up when we get there. All right, so Emily's going to decide to relive a day before she was married. Emily.
Then it can be since I was married or since the baby was born. I can choose a birthday at least. I can't,
Can't I?
can't I? I choose my 12th birthday.
All right, it's February 11th, 1899, a Tuesday. Do you want any special time of day?
Oh, I want the whole day.
We'll begin at dawn, and the lights would come up like it's dawn on the other side of the stage. You remember it had been snowing for several days, but it had stopped the night before, and they'd begun clearing the roads. The sun's coming up.
There's Main Street. Wow, that's Mr. Morgan's drugstore before he changed it. And there's the
Livery.
livery stable.
Yes, it's 1899. This is 14 years ago.
Oh, that's the town I knew as a little girl. And look, there's an old white fence that used to be around our house. Oh, I've forgotten that. Oh, I loved it so. Are they inside?
Yes, your mother will be coming downstairs in a minute to make breakfast.
Will she?
And you remember your father had been away for several days. He came back on the early morning train.
No.
He'd been back to his college to make a speech in Western New York at Clinton.
Look, there's Howie Newsome. There's our policeman. But he died. But he's dead. He died.
Okay, so this is kind of like, I always think that this is a little bit like A Christmas Carol. Have y'all know that story, right? She gets to go relive her 12th birthday, and she gets to act out as her 12-year-old self. But her family only hears like what she said back when she was actually 12. And so when she addresses us with her insights, because now she's, older or whatnot, her folks, of course, would not hear that part, right? All right, so let's see. Howie Newsome.
Whoa, Bessie, Morningville.
Morning, Howie.
You're up early.
Been risking a party. Darn near froze to death. Down by Polish Town's off. Got drunk and lay out in the snowdrift. Thought he was in bed when I shook him.
Why, there's Joe Carwell.
Good morning, Mr. Warren. Morning, Howie.
Children, Wally, Emily, time to get up.
Mama, I'm here. Oh, how young Mama looks. I didn't know Mama was ever that young.
You can come and dress by the kitchen fire if you like that, but hurry. Good morning, Mr. Newsome. Ooh, it's cold. Come below to my barn, Miss Webb. Think of it. Keep yourself wrapped up.
Mama, I can't find my blue hair ribbon anywhere.
Just open your eyes, dear, that's all. I laid it out for you special on the dresser. There. If it were a snake, it would bite you.
Yes, sis.
Oh, good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Mr. Webb. You're up early.
Yes, just been back to my old college in New York State. Been in any trouble here?
Yeah. I was called up this morning to rescue a Polish fellow. Darn near froze to death he was.
You must get that in the paper.
20 much.
Papa.
Good morning, Mother.
How'd it go, Charles?
Oh, fine, I guess. I told him a few things. Everything's all right here.
Yes, can't think of anything that's happened special. Been right cold. Howie Newsom says it's 10 below over to his barn.
Yes, well, it's colder than that at Hamilton College. Students' ears are falling off. It ain't Christian.
That's funny.
Paper have any mistakes in it?
None that I noticed. Coffee's ready when you want it. Charles, don't forget, it's Emily's birthday. Did you remember to get her something?
Yes, I've got something here. Where's my girl? Where's my birthday girl?
Don't interrupt her now, Charles. You can see her at breakfast. She's slow enough as it is. Hurry up, children. It's 7 o'clock. Now I don't want to call you again.
I can't bear it. They're so young and beautiful. Why did they ever have to get old? Mama, I'm here. I'm grown up. I love you all, everything. I can't look at everything hard enough.
Now she enters the room with her parents, but remember she's playing, they only see her 12-year-old self, okay? Go ahead.
Good morning, Mama.
Well now, dear, a very happy birthday to my girl and many happy returns. There are some surprises waiting for you on the kitchen table.
Oh, Mama, you shouldn't have. I can't.
But birthday or no birthday, I want you to eat your breakfast good and slow. I want you to grow up and be a good, strong girl. That in the blue paper is from your Aunt Carrie, and I reckon you can guess who brought the postcard album. I found it on the doorstep when I brought in the milk. George Gibbs. Must have come over in the cold pretty early, right next to him.
Oh, George, I've forgotten that.
Chew that bacon good and slow. It'll help keep you warm on a cold day.
Oh, Mama, I just looked at.
Just look at me.
Just look at me 1 minute, as though you really saw me. Mama, 14 years have gone by. I'm dead. You're a grandmother, Mama. I married George Gibbs, Mama. Wally's dead too, Mama. His appendix burst on a camping trip to North Conway. We felt just terrible about it. Don't you remember? But just for a moment now, we're all together. Mama, just for a moment, we're happy. Look at us, one another.
Yeah, let's look at one another. So she knows what the living don't, and that is that we don't often slow down and really see what's in front of us. She wants to slow it down and like absorb it. But life goes on, and that's just not how we live on a daily basis, right? Miss Webb.
That in the yellow paper is something I found in the attic among your grandmother's things. You're old enough to wear it now, and I thought you'd like it.
And this is from you? Why, Mama? It's just lovely, and it's just what I wanted. It's beautiful.
Well, I hope you'd like it. Hunted all over. Your Aunt Nora couldn't find one in Concord, so I had to send it all the way to Boston. Wally has something for you too. He made it at a manual training class, and he's very proud of it. Be sure to make a big fuss about it. Your father has a surprise for you too. Don't know what it is myself. Here he comes.
Where's my girl? Where's my birthday girl?
I can't go on. It goes so fast. We don't have time to look at one another.
Yeah, you may want to make a note of that, guys. That's a great line. We don't have time to look at one another. So she realizes that all that was going on and she wasn't paying enough attention. Now, they're going to take her out of that scene. So the lights would dim and she would take her place back with the dead. Go ahead, Emily.
I didn't realize. So all that was going on, and we never noticed. Take me back up the hill to my grave. But first, wait, one more look. Goodbye, world. Goodbye, Grover's Corner. Mama and Papa. Goodbye to clocks ticking and Mama's sunflowers and food and coffee and new iron dresses and hot baths and sleeping and waking up. Oh, Earth, you're too wonderful for anybody to realize you. Do any human beings ever realize life while they lived it? Every minute?
No. Saints and poets, maybe. They do some.
I'm ready to go back.
Were you happy?
No, I should have listened to you. That's all human beings are. Just blind people.
Look, it's clearing up. The stars are coming out.
Oh, Mr. Stimson, I should have listened to them.
Yes, now you know. That's what it was to be alive, to move about in a cloud of ignorance, to go up and down, trampling on the feelings of those of those about you, to spend and waste time as though you had a million years, to be always at the mercy of one self-centered passion or another. Now you know that's the happy existence you wanted to go back to, ignorance and blindness.
Simon Stimson, that ain't the whole truth and you know it. Emily, look at that star. I forgot its name.
My boy Joel was a sailor, knew them all. He'd sit on the porch evenings and tell them all by name. Yes, sir, wonderful. A star is mighty good company. Yes, yes, it is.
Here's one of them coming.
That's funny. No time for him to be here. Now, George is going to come and kind of throw himself down on the floor in front of Emily, which indicates that he would have collapsed at her grave, which is pretty touching, right? Go ahead.
Mother Gibbs, it's George.
Dear, just rest yourself.
It's George.
And my boy Joel knew the stars. He used to say it took millions of years for that speck of light to get to the earth. Don't seem like a body could believe it, but that's what he used to say. Millions of years. Goodness, that ain't no way to behave.
He ought to be home.
Mother Gibbs,
Yes, Emily?
they don't understand, do they?
No, dear. They don't understand.
What is it that we living don't understand?
That we don't have all the time.
That we don't have all the time in the world. That's right. We don't have a lot of time. Most everybody's in Grover's Corners. There are a few lights on. Shorty Hawkins down at the depot's just watched the Albany train go by. And at the livery stable, somebody's sitting up late and talking. Yes, it's clearing up. There are the stars doing their old crisscross journeys in the sky. Scholars haven't settled the matter yet, but they seem to think that there are no living beings up there, just chalk or fire. Only this one, this planet, is straining away all the time to make something of itself. The strain's so bad that every 16 hours, everybody lies down and gets a rest. 11 o'clock in Grover's Corners, you get a good rest too. So the play opens at dawn and closes at 11 when everybody is going to sleep, okay? So Emily pauses before she goes to her grave. She pauses to say goodbye to her favorite things like freshly ironed dresses and coffee and sleeping and waking up, right? And she says goodbye to her, to Grover's Corners itself. Now, if we, as a class, said goodbye to our favorite things, it might sound like this. Goodbye to Stag Circle. Goodbye to West Trails Inn. Goodbye to Loveland Circle, to Baltimore and Belle Chase. Goodbye to Brunswick Neighborhood. Goodbye to North Lakeshore, Pecan Drive, to St. Charles Place. Goodbye to South Dresden Court, to Versailles. Goodbye to Kipling Place, Burgundy Ridge, Dakota House Lane. Goodbye to Dean Road. Goodbye to Eagle Bend Way. Goodbye to Eastridge Drive, Brandon Drive, Bion Drive, Rutherford, Dixie Blanchard Road. Goodbye to Barber Avenue, Orange Blossom Lane. Goodbye to Cedar Hill, Spring Ridge Estates. Goodbye to Ernwood, Brookwood, Woolworth Road. Goodbye to South Highlands. Goodbye to Shreveport. Goodbye to my favorite people, my nephew, my best friends, my mom, my grandfather. Goodbye to Morgan, Bess, Molly, Skylar, Landry, Kennedy. Goodbye to Elon Musk. Goodbye to Jack Black and Kevin Hart and Dwayne Johnson. Goodbye to my mom and my brother, to my friend James and my friend Ryan. Goodbye to literally everyone in the Bird Band. Goodbye to my boyfriend Walter Williams and my best friend Reagan Davis. Goodbye to LaToya Lee. Goodbye to my stepdad. Goodbye to my girlfriend. Goodbye to Emily and Bella and Bailey and Madeline and Arden and Haley and Gracie and Emma and Lily and Ella. Goodbye to Caitlin and Sydney and Bailey and Blaine. Goodbye to Christian. Goodbye to my dog Teddy. Goodbye to Morgan and Amber and Molly and Landry and Skylar and Kennedy. Goodbye to Bella Fertitta. Goodbye to all the good people in the world. Goodbye to my best friend Morgan. Goodbye to my friend from Shreve. Goodbye to my young life leader. Goodbye Claire, Emily, Bella. Boy, they're getting lots of shout outs. Caroline. Goodbye, Mom and Dad.
Wait, who is this from?
From y'all. Goodbye to my closet. Goodbye to my parents' room. Goodbye to the bathroom. Goodbye to my big backyard with my pool. Goodbye to the living room, especially because of the fireplace. Goodbye to my dining room, my man cave. Goodbye to the kitchen. Goodbye to the bench in front of our pond where I watch my ducks play. Goodbye to my room, which is like a sanctuary. Goodbye to my bed. Goodbye to the picture of my mother. Goodbye to my piano, to my CD collection, to my pillow, to my American flag pin. Goodbye to my PC. Goodbye to laptops and phones. Goodbye to my truck. Goodbye to my Tiffany necklace that I got for my birthday. Goodbye to my promise ring that I got from my stepdad at my mother's wedding ceremony. Goodbye to all my pictures. Goodbye to my shoes. Goodbye to my collection of Jane Austen novels. Goodbye to my green blanket. Goodbye to the necklace from my godmother. Goodbye to the cat. Goodbye to the heart necklace that my aunt gave me for my birthday. Goodbye to food. Goodbye to gumbo and french fries and fried rice and chicken and pizza, pepperoni pizza, pizza from Notini's. Taylor, pay attention. Did a lot of work on this. Goodbye to hamburger and Cajun chicken pasta with breadsticks. Goodbye to fruit and shrimp and avocado toast and Japanese food and seafood and potatoes and pickles and cheese and fettuccine alfredo and honey barbecue wings and quesadillas and anything Mexican and my favorite chicken pot pie. Goodbye to strawberry lemonade and chocolate milk and boba and milk and water and Dr. Pepper and Kool-Aid and Coke Zero and pineapple juice and hot tea and mint tea and peach tea. Y'all like tea? Arnold Palmer's and mango sweet teas and vitamin waters and Capri Suns. Goodbye to sweet tea. Y'all really like tea.
It's a salad.
Goodbye to my instruments, my pictures of my family. Goodbye to the shower, to my football, to my Xbox. Goodbye to my 3 cats. Goodbye to the dishwasher, my PlayStation, my PS4. Goodbye to my air fryer and the coffee machine and the popcorn maker.
My Lord.
Goodbye to our fireplace and my pillows. Goodbye to the mirror in the hallway. Goodbye to my guitar. Goodbye to my clothes, my cheer sport jacket. Goodbye to jeans and leggings and boots and Lululemons. Is that how you say that? I'm very old. Goodbye to my North Face hoodie. Goodbye to my band jacket, to glittery Ugg boots. Usually have them on. Goodbye to the shoes, probably my golden gooses. Goodbye to sweaters and sweatshirts and t-shirts and jeans. Goodbye to that old white hoodie that says we came from the future. Goodbye to the smell of my granny's cooking, to the smell of Sharpies and fresh cut grass. Goodbye to the smell of vanilla and pumpkin spice and campfires,
Oh yeah.
and the smell of spearmint and the smell of Daisy by Marc Jacobs. Goodbye to the smell of an early summer morning with dew on the grass. It's very specific. Goodbye to fruit smells and mahogany teak wood. Goodbye to the smell of coffee and bacon cooking. Goodbye to the smell of cookies baking. Goodbye to cheering and playing tennis and listening to music and dancing and watching movies and skating. Goodbye to reading, writing. Goodbye to just hanging out with my friends. Goodbye to playing basketball, to painting, to learning about El Chapo. Goodbye to watching The Bachelor. To sewing, to competitive napping. That's a quote. I could get a part of that. Goodbye to singing and playing guitar. Goodbye to Bird. Goodbye to the competitiveness, the teachers. Goodbye to the atmosphere and the spirit. Goodbye to the bowling team. Goodbye to its sports. Goodbye to band. Goodbye to the size. I love how big Bird is. Goodbye to the traditions, the football games, the hive, the art program. Goodbye to how everyone is so accepting. Goodbye to one of my favorite teachers who teaches here. That one's not named. Goodbye to the people that actually like their school. Goodbye to the folks that I have met along the way. Goodbye.
God, that was long.
Yeah, it was. Yes. What your favorite things are. Your favorite things.
The end part got